ever notice how we always talk about like the smartest people being the best leaders?
Yeah.
You know, like they've got like crazy high IQs and they can just like solve anything.
Right.
But what if I told you that there's something even more important than just being like book smart, you know, especially in like today's crazy world?
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, we're doing a deep dive today into an article that makes a really interesting point about like emotional intelligence.
You mean EQ?
Yeah, EQ, exactly.
I'm listening.
And it says that EQ is like the secret ingredient for being like a truly great leader.
You know what's really interesting about this whole EQ thing?
What's that?
It like totally challenges how we used to think about leadership. Like in the past, it was all about being like super rational and, not letting your emotions show.
Right. Like the stereotypical like CEO in a movie.
Exactly. But this article is saying that to be really effective as a leader, especially now, like in the modern workplace, you've got to be good at understanding and managing emotions.
Okay, so not just your own emotions, but like other people's emotions too.
Exactly. It's like this whole other level of leadership that we're talking about here.
So let's break down this whole EQ thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because the article talks about like four main parts of EQ.
Okay.
Self-awareness,
Yeah.
self-management, then there's social awareness,
Yeah.
and like relationship management.
Yeah. It sounds simple enough when you just list it out like that.
It does.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, I definitely struggle with some of those pieces. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Which ones trip you up?
Self-management?
Oh.
Self-management, for sure.
Yeah.
I can think of a time where I totally lost my cool with a client.
Oh, no. What happened?
It was like they kept changing the scope of this project, like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I just like snapped.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
We've all had those moments where our EQ like totally flies out the window.
it's true. But that's actually why I think this article is so helpful.
How so?
Because it's not just about like giving names to these different parts of EQ.
Right.
It actually shows you how they work in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. It connects the dots for you.
Like, for example, they talk about self-awareness,
Yeah.
and they give this great example of a CEO.
Oh, yeah. What about her?
So she realized that whenever she felt pressured by like investors, she would make like rash decisions.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And once she like figured that out about herself,
Yeah.
she was able to actually step back and like manage her anxiety. And then she could approach those situations with like a clear head.
That's such a good point. It's like she hit pause on her emotions
Totally.
and then chose a better way to respond.
Exactly. So it's not just about like being emotional or not emotional. It's about being smart about your emotion.
Right. It's about being intentional.
Okay, but what about when you're dealing with like a difficult person?
Okay. Yeah.
Like what kind of situation?
Let's say you have a team member who's like constantly missing deadlines or something.
Got it. So how does EQ come into play there?
Exactly. Like, how do you handle that?
Well, that's where social awareness and relationship management becomes super important.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. Let's say you're leading a team and everyone's remote.
Right. Which is like so common these days.
Totally. And one person just keeps dropping the ball on their work.
Yeah.
So a leader with high EQ wouldn't just like jump to conclusions.
Right. They wouldn't just get mad.
Exactly. They'd try to understand what's going on. Like, are they overwhelmed? Are they dealing with something personal? Are they feeling isolated, being remote? All those things.
That's a good point. It's easy to just focus on the behavior like, oh, they missed the deadline again. But there's probably like a whole story there.
Exactly. And by tuning into those unspoken cues and like actually talking to the person,
Right.
you build trust
All right.
and you can help them get back on track.
So it's like you're not ignoring the problem,
Right.
but you're also not just like yelling at them.
Exactly. It's about being understanding and supportive.
Okay, this is all making sense, but I'm still kind of wondering, like, why is EQ such a big deal now?
Good question.
Like, haven't good leaders always needed these skills?
Yeah, that's true. Good leaders have always had some level of emotional intelligence. Right.
But the thing is, the modern workplace is like a whole different animal.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. We've got remote teams, global collaboration, technology is changing constantly. It's just a lot to handle.
Yeah, it's like everything's moving so fast.
Exactly. And it's harder to build relationships when you're not face to face.
That's true. Like sometimes a quick chat in the hallway can clear up so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And misunderstandings can happen so easily online.
So basically, we're all under more pressure than ever before.
Yeah, you could say that.
And we need these EQ skills to like navigate it all.
Exactly. And this article makes a really strong case for that. It's like EQ is the key to thriving in this new world of work.
Whether you're leading a virtual team
Right.
or having tough conversations or just like dealing with all the changes that keep coming our way.
It all comes back to EQ.
I'm really glad we did this deep dive
Me too.
because it's definitely opened my eyes to how important EQ is.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see how even small improvements in my own EQ could make a big difference.
Absolutely. It can impact your work life, your personal life, everything.
Okay, but one question I have.
Yeah, what's that?
Can EQ actually be learned?
Oh, good one.
Or are some people just like born with it?
It's a question that researchers are still trying to figure out fully.
Right.
It seems like some people might be naturally more in tune with their emotions than others.
Yeah, like they just get it.
Right. But the good news is that pretty much everyone can develop their EQ. It's like a muscle you can train.
Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah. It takes practice, self-reflection, and a willingness to get outside your comfort zone.
So thinking about your own journey for a minute, what's like one area of EQ that you feel like you could focus on developing further?
That's a good question.
And how do you think that might change how you interact with people, especially in like a remote or hybrid work setting?
That's something for all of us to consider, I guess. That's our homework.
Yeah, it is our EQ homework.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.